Retain gang, what's poppin', man? This your boy Tay, back at y'all again. Hey, check this out. So a lot of y'all been blowing me up off my last video. What is shadow work? How do I do it? What do I do? Where do I start? You know, all this. So, you know, I'm gonna give y'all some insight on what you can do to begin shadow work. What is shadow work, right? So understand, we have a light side to us and we have a dark side to us. What I mean by that is, when you're out in public, you know, you're on your best behavior. You're gonna show the best of you. So that's your light side. You know, you're showing the best that you have to offer. Your sun sign, you know how, you know, if you're born in a certain month, you're this sign, you're a Pisces or a Gemini, whatever. Your sun sign, your sunshine, your sun sign, that's how you shine your light to the world. But you also have a shadow side to you. That shadow side is who you are when you're alone by yourself, your true self. This is where we talk about the shadow work. The shadow work is you working on yourself behind closed doors. Who are you behind closed doors? Because see, when we're behind closed doors, when nobody's around us, this is when all our traumas pop up, all our insecurities. We go through the most emotional trauma, reliving those past moments that, you know, left trauma in our life. That's when you deal with those things behind closed doors. But when you go out in public, we put a mask on. We hide that. You know, we hide all those things. So when I think of shadow work, I think of Naruto, of how, you know, he was a good person on the surface, but on the inside, he was going through a battle with that nine-tailed fox demon that was sealed inside of him. You know, and all throughout the show, he had to learn how to live with that shadow. He had to go back inside of himself. He had to release. He had to deal with his traumas, and he had to find peace and resolution. And you see now, like when he did that, he became untouchable, right? He elevated to his highest version. The idea for you is you can't be afraid of yourself. You got to face your fears. You know, people are afraid to look themselves in the mirror. I get comments all the time saying, you know, I made videos where I said, look yourself in the mirror to really connect with yourself. Oh, it's demonic. You open up portals to demons to attack you. And all you're doing is looking at yourself. So if you look yourself in the mirror and you see demons, or you open up portals to demons, that just says a lot about you. And that means you got a lot of work to do in here, because you're looking back at yourself. The eyes are the window to the soul. So if you're afraid to look at yourself, you know, what does that tell you? And see, this is the problem. Whenever it comes time to dealing with yourself and knowing thyself, it's always somehow deemed as evil. But yet people sit around and watch TV all day, right? That's normal, even though you're catching spells. People ride around in their cars listening to low vibrational music all day, but that's perfectly normal, right? That's not affecting you at all. Nope. People eat processed foods and low vibrational food, but that's normal, right? But when it comes to learning yourself and going back inside yourself, it's always deemed as evil for some reason. You know, this world is backwards. The key to shadow work is you have to learn to be alone. You got to isolate yourself, detach any distractions. You can't be around friends. You can't be out partying. You got to take time out to be to yourself. Sit down and be still. See, people always feel like they got to do something. Always in a rush to do the same thing they do every single day. Where are you going? Where are you going? You ain't going nowhere. You're just in a rush to do nothing. The work is in here. Sit down, be still, and go inside yourself. Right? See, the first step is learning how to be able to sit for 5-10 minutes. Can you do that? Just be able to sit 5-10 minutes to yourself and go through your thoughts. Just be aware of the moment. How are you feeling? You know, any emotions that you feel. Taking the time to just be aware of yourself. Most people can't do that. They're too impatient. And see, this right here, these are exercises you can do to start with shadow work and start to develop self-awareness. Is being able to sit still for 5-10 minutes, 20-30 minutes. You know, meditation is a big part of shadow work, because with meditation, you're setting the tone, right? You're focusing on your breathing. Sometimes I like to listen to binary beats, so I like to listen to like ocean waves. That kind of helps relax me. It helps me get into that space to go in deep into my psyche, right? But see, a lot of people, they can't even sit down still for 5 minutes because they get too jittery. There's days where I sit and I meditate for hours, literally hours, just sitting still. And that takes practice. So when you get into the state of meditation, when you're breathing, you got your binary beats on, whatever, what you want to do is you want to walk through those dark hallways, right, of yourself. And what's going to happen is if you've seen that Dave Chappelle skit where he was like in the internet and he was walking through that mall and he had all these pop-ups coming up like, buy this. You can get your car insurance with this, right? It's like he was inside of the internet and he had all these pop-ups trying to distract him from what he was really trying to do. That's what's going to happen to you as you're walking through those dark hallways of yourself. You know, you're going to have these pop-ups popping up to distract you. You know, that girl I saw at the gym with the fat cheeks, you know, that doorway comes up. And then my ex, you know, what am I going to eat later? All these doors start popping up for you to walk through, trying to distract you from your journey. But you got to block those out and you got to keep going down that dark hallway, right? Set your intention. I'm looking for emotional trauma inside of me, right? Set that intention before you even start, so you know what you're looking for. This is the same thing they do when you go to a therapist. All they do is they put you in a calm state, they make sure you're relaxed, and they try to find triggers. They take you back through your memories and they try to find triggers, and once they find that trigger point, they bring it to the surface and they make you deal with it. They make you find peace and resolution with that energy, right? So as you're walking through, you're like a ghost hunter. You know, you got your little radar and you're searching for that emotion. You're searching for that trauma that's still inside of you. Understand, when we go through traumatic moments, we take a screenshot of that. Times where we were in a high, intense emotional state, we take a screenshot of that moment, and that's where we get memories from. This is why you can remember stuff that happened 10 years ago, but you can't remember what you ate last week. But you remember when your ex did this 10 years ago, because all that emotion, and you took a snapshot of that emotional time. So this is why you have memories, and when you have memories, you have a feeling that's attached to that, right? This is what they do when you watch TV. When you watch TV, you're watching, you know, if you're watching like a sad movie or something, and when the sad part comes up, the music behind it is what makes you get into your feelings, right? The same thing with your memories. You take a screenshot of it, and then those emotions are attached to that image. So what you're doing is you're trying to find that emotion, that image, and you're looking for that emotion, right? And then when you keep walking through, going through your memories, walking back through your memories, when you find it, you want to go and deal with it. You want to bring it back to the surface, and you want to find peace and resolution, right? And this doesn't happen overnight. So, you know, sometimes you might have to just forgive people. That might be what you need to do, because a lot of times we be holding on to stuff since a child. You know, you might have had a grudge with somebody in the 3rd grade because they stole your candy, and you never forgave that person for that, so it affects you today. Every time you see that person, you're like, oh, I remember that time you stole my candy in the 3rd grade, right? And you still holding on to that. So this is what we're doing. We're backtracking through our memories, and we're finding these moments, these trigger points, these memories with emotions attached to them, and we're trying to find peace and resolution. Okay? You got to bring that to the surface. And it's scary because you got to relive those moments. So it's very scary for some. This is why people are scared to be alone. Some people, they always got to be in a relationship. They always got to have friends around them. They always got to be doing something to distract themselves from themselves. Right? This is what so many people do. This is why there's so much entertainment, so many distractions for you to not go back and deal with yourself. And that's a problem. So yeah, man, the shadow work is about you going inside and releasing any trauma, releasing it, facing your fears, and finding peace and resolution. Right? And in order for you to do that, you got to isolate yourself. You got to sit down, be still. You got to face your fears, and you got to go through those hallways. You got to walk through that hallway. You got to go all the way back. Right? You got to deal with your past trauma. If you do not deal with your past trauma, you cannot elevate. You cannot raise up to the next level. You're going to keep repeating that loop. You're going to keep repeating that cycle. You wonder why things keep happening, the same situations keep happening over and over again? Because you haven't dealt with that past trauma. So it's making you play out that situation, right? This is why you got to detach. Attachment is dangerous. Attachment leads to uncontrollable emotions, and uncontrollable emotions leads to unconscious actions. So you want to break that curse. You want to break that loop that you're stuck in. And the only way you can do that is you got to identify where the problem's coming from and release it. Right? Now, it's easier said than done. Like I said, it's very scary, but you can do this yourself. It just takes practice, right? Repetition. But you got to affirm yourself what you want and what your intentions are. Ask the Most High for help. You know, I want to release this trauma. I want to find this trauma. Why do I feel this way? Help me search and find where this is coming from. Where's the source at? And then when you go into your meditative state and walk those hallways, you know, when you ask for help, it's going to guide you to that. You're going to find memories that you got stored inside you that you forgot about. You're going to be like, oh, I remember this time when I was a kid. Dang, I forgot all about that memory. Take time to know yourself, right? Take time to become self-aware. And you'd be surprised how you come out on the other side. You'd be surprised how much you elevate from doing your inner work. All right? Retain Gang, this your boy Tay. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe. Let me know in the comment section what y'all thought about this video or what y'all would like me to talk about next. Y'all have a beautiful day, man. And I'm out.